Okay, so we're on page Mem Zion. So, B'tlas Aser Mechilin de Rachamim Ishtakach. B'shlosh Esrech B'midu Shal Rachamim Nimsech Mizgala Erich Anpin the Tachtainim. This is what his words are. Nimsi is found. He reveals himself through these 13. Kihem Nimshachim V'Yordim Al Yedech B'shlosh Aser Tikuni Dikna Shel Erich Anpin. So therefore, from there is where we see the flow coming out of Erich Anpin for the beard. So why do you have 313? He says, lo pachas v'lo yoser. It's not 14, it's not 12. Who begin the high chochmastas dimo debe misparshan tlas zimnim la arba arba. So let's see what that translation is. Ibishum shechochma chastuma shabos, the chochma which is closed up and completely hidden away. Excuse me. Shuhu muchas dimo shabarosh Erich Anpin. It's chalak l'shlosh pa'amim ba'arba ba'arba. So what's it? It's divided into 3 times 4. So I don't know, 4. I don't know what that double lashon here. Shem shlosh pa'amim shem b'vaya, which comes out to be 3 times the name of Vaya Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is 12. Keneged shlosh mochim pratim chochma bina da shabo. So therefore, there's a Yud Kei Vav Kei in each one of those that makes 12. V'yesh b'kol shem kuvaya arba osios, and each one of them, he's counting it out, has 4 letters in it. Shehem yachad shtaim esrei osios, that together they make 12. Hamakor, this is the root. The shtaim esrei midas arachamim, of the 12 midas arachamim shel Erich Anpin. So wait a minute, there's 13. Vu atika kolel lon. So he says what? He says the Midah of 13 is Atika himself. Shuhu Erich Anpin. So I guess maybe the translation I didn't do so good. It means to say that it itself is the 13th. V'shalad al kula, and is in control of all of them. So he said, Erich Anpin, Sholad b'shlosh esrei midosav shal rachamim. He is in control of those. What do you say? Those 13 midas of rachamim. I'll call her partsufim that come to all of the other partsufim. So his chad archon here. So there's a path here that's shining. Derek echad opanui. So this empty path is shining from the head of Erich Anpin, specifically in the part down the middle of the hair. This is the white part. Rosh Erich Anpin, that is, I think he means in between the hairs or the bundles of hairs of Erich Anpin, the nafkim mocha that actually come out from the mochas timor. So he says that shehem hasa'aras hayotzim b'mochas. So this actually is a surplus that's coming out of the mochas timah. Kumo kein haderek hazecha beyotzim b'mochadas shebe'emsim mochas timah. So he says that since, I guess he's saying that since the parting of the hairs, which has this white line running through it, so therefore it comes from the middle, because it's, I guess he means to say that it's from the middle. And the one muach which has the Yud Kei Vav Kei within it, which is the muach hadas, shebe'emsa muchas timah, which is in the middle of the muchas timah. So since he says that, I think that I'm familiar with the thought that the muchas timah has 3 sides to it. But that seems to be what he's saying, since he says that this part is related to the das, which is in the middle, so there has to be a chochma and a bina on its sides. Who archod the nehira bebed tzedikaya the alma the asi. This is the path. Who haderek shad tzadikim meirim b'mena be'olam haba, so that they're actually, the tzadikim shine from this when they need to reach the next world. Dechsev kamosha kasev v'orach tzadikim ka'or noga, because the light of these tzadikim is like a bright shining light. And the rest of the pasuk, cholik v'or ad nachon nayom, it shines very, very strongly. Pirusho lefi hasod. So this is what we understand about this according to Sod. She'or haderek hameir l'tzadikim the olam haba. So that light, that shining of the tzadikim in the next world, Huka or Noga, it's like a bright shining light, a Elyon Shabarosh Erich Anpin, which is on the head of Erich Anpin. Now, this is the part that he's talking about, which is he said also that it comes from an aspect of the Mochas Dimah, which he says the das of the Mochas Dimah. Shechoidach of Meir Tamid Batokef, so it continues to shine with power. So like which he means, like he says, nachon, he says means chetzi hayom. In other words, it shines like the sun shining at midday, at noon. So therefore on this it's written, Oz tis aneg al yudke vavke. Oz la'olam abba, so therefore, when you get this light and the next world, he said, you reach that place, Oz la'olam haba, Yes, Angol Tzadikim, so then the Tzadikim will be celebrating their Ma'or Erich Anpin, in what? From the ore of Erich Anpin, which is shining them in such a delight. Yosim in Zer Anpin and Nikra. So this is a much higher level of light. A higher level of light than what could become from Zer Anpin, who is called Yud Vavke, Vahainu Al Yud Vavke. What does that mean? Al Vahainu Al, that means up above. Yud Vavke, Kolomer, Yoser me Yud Vavke. So this, he wants to tell us, it gives a vision of what the Tzaddikim have in the next world. It's a light that is higher than Zer Anpin. Ki Zer Anpin, Eine Mekabel, or Erich Anpin, Rak Kushahum Beluvus Besaras Arosh, because the direct light, oh, this is interesting, he said, because the direct light of Erich Anpin does not come to Zer Anpin. It only comes when it's clothed within the follicles, the hair follicle, the hairs of the head. In other words, the channels. Rak Shukum Beluvish Besaras Arosh, Vatsadiki Yakablo or Erich Anpin min Haderek Haponim Besaras, but they get the straight light. The light that is not filtered through the hairs, bli kol haslavshos, but without any kind of haslavshos, it's a tremendous light. Umahahu archa miznarim kol shar archin desal bezer Anpin, and from this path, we have now an illumination of all the other paths. The Sal Bezer Anpin that go down into Zer Anpin. Let's see what he means. So the 613 paths of Teluyim Bezer Anpin, which really come out of Zer Anpin, shall Erich Anpin, because this path, the one we're talking about, the split, coming once again out of the das of the Mochas Dimah, he says, Erich Anpin, Meir the Derek Shebe'emsa Sa'aros Zer Anpin, it also shines into the hairs that are in the middle, Meir the Derech, the path. There's apparently a path also, Shebe'emsa Sa'aros Zer Anpin. There's a duplication there that he also has a similar formation of the hairs. That's the path that splits into 613 different paths, Keneged Taryag Mitzvos Shabbatara. So let's go on, and it says, Ahai Etika Savad the Savik. Now, he's very liberal. Let's see if I lost him. What happened there? Yeah, I lost him. What happened? No. Okay, we're back. So I'm starting on this word here, Atika Savad the Savim. So a very liberal use of the word Atika continues to flow here, but he means to say that the preliminary, the Pneumius, Atika Savad the Savim. Zeha Atek, this one, Shuhu Zaken the Zakanim, is the grandfather of grandfathers, Vahaina Rabashicha Bezaken, Yosimin Abba Ve'ibach Anikroim Zakanim. So it means to say that it's more panimi than Chochmah and Bina, which are called the Zechanim. Kisra Elor La'elo, so it is an upper crown. He says, V'hu ha'keser ha'elyon l'mala b'rosh Erich Anpin. So now, just a second. He wants to talk about the crown on the head of Erich Anpin. The Haida Hagulgola Shalo, that is, what does he call that? He means talking about the skull. Previously, we talked about the Mochas Dimah. So he said this skull, the Mis'adrin Bey called Itrin, it becomes the crown of crowns. Shemis'adrin Bo called Ataros, all the other the crowns, or I guess he means the Gugoltos of all the rest of the spheres, Shehem Oros or Partsufim, Shehem Oros Sheves Tikuni Gugolta B'Shlosh Esri Tikuni Dikna. Now let's see what he says that the Sheves Tikuni Gugolta. So I guess he means the eyes, nose, ears, and the mouth. I think that's what he means. The Tikuni Gugolta V'Shlosh Esri Tikuni Dikna, and then the 13 Tikunim that come for the beard. Kibimanu Hem Nimshaching the Mochas, because from these places, from the Kasser, that is from the skull, and from the beard. Now let me see, Ki Mimanu, because from that place, Hem Nimshaching the Mochas, they pour out into the Mochas V'Nisaknim Sham, and there the paths are built. V'Kisrin Misnaharim, and then V'Haksarim Meirim Mimanu, and then all the Kasarim, they shine from it. Shehem, what Kasarim is he talking about? He says, Shehem Abba V'Ima Nikroim Kasarim. Abba V'Ima, he says, Abba V'Ima can also be called crowns. Makabdim or Mitikuni Erich Anpin, and they receive the light that comes from the tikkuning of Erich Anpin. Called Butzini Mine Mimenu Meirim Kolaneros. So all of the lamps, all of the candles, all the lights from down below, and he was talking here about Abba V'Ima, so I'm not sure exactly what he says all, and exactly I'm not sure how, but he does say that this light that's coming off of this top of the head of the Gogolta of Erich Anpin, he says it goes into the Mochas, and I'm a little bit lost over there. Let me go back over here to the last column on page Nun. He says, "Called Butzinim Minoah, Zimimenu Meirim Kol Haneres." All of the lights are lit by this. Shehem Zer Anpin V'Nukva, which there we're talking about Zacha V'Nuk, that they're also lit up. So he says there's different ideas that all lights, this light comes to all the lower parts. So from Mislatim and Misnaharim, and they are kindled. His Mislatim din, from the side of the din, they're burning. Umeirim mitzad rachamim, but they shine from the side of rachamim. Ki etzel zer anpin v'nukva yesh hein din v'heim rachamim, because between the zach v'nuk you have both the Indians of yesh din. There's din, the Indian of din, and you have also the Indian of rachamim. V'chuva Erich Anpin, that is Erich Anpin, who butzini lo tzmiril de lo isyada, who ner elyon, so it's acting as the penimis dika light that's shining down towards every place else. Who ner elyon ganu she'ena noida, not knowable, ki nikra ner metzach. So excuse me, it's called a ner mitzad koach hadinim shabo, and why is it called a lamp? Because of the flame that's within it, which is the dinim. Elishuhu ganus, but that particular aspect is hidden. Ki hadinim enim nikarim bo, because you can't see the dinim within Erich Anpin. Kulu rachamim, and so therefore his manifestation is only ma rachamim. Because shar botzinim minei mislatim misnarim, and all of the rest of the shalom neros, and meirim mimena that are shining from it, shehem zer anpin and nukva, which he said before, mislatim, they also are kindled. Misad hadin, because of the din that is suppressed inside of Erich Anpin, the meirim mitzad rachamim, but it winds up being shining out through rachamim. Keep a redisa or lamat, because as the light goes downwards, kavar nikar v'nizgalubo hadinim, it becomes more obvious that there are dinim. And I'm thinking that the whole process of going downwards is a din, because it's constantly being squeezed, etc. Now we're going to go through this piece here. And I didn't really follow it 100% because I'm trying to get some perspective on it. And it says it's kalos atlaseration, the incorporation of the three. What is it? The general principle of them? I'm not sure. Hayatika ishtakach b'slaseration. So tika, he says, is found with three heads. Zeha atek shuhu Adam Kadmon. Now we're going to the most ancient of all. We're going to Adam Kadmon. Nim salona v'nigla olena. So it's found for us. We find it. The Nigla revealed to us Bihi Yosef is lavish betok shlosh roshim, because Adam Kadmon is panimi to the three roshim. Shehem Reisha de lo Isyada, which is what? That is the rosh of Atek Yomim, Shel Atek Yomim, V'gu Galto, Shehu Kesed Erich Anpin, which is the crown of Erich Anpin, Umuchas Timor, and also the Umuchas Timor, which is inside Shehu Chochma de Erich Anpin. V'kalilim b'chad breisha. They're all incorporated, though, actually, into one head. Because shlosh roshim elu, Kululim Barosh Echad. They're all considered to be like one head. Ki Kulam Mekablim Orim Bereshadal Isida, because he says all of them. Now this seems to be one of the problems I have. He says there are three of them, and he counted the Reshadal Isida. Now he says Ki Kulam, that is all of them. He means the other two receive their life from the Reshadal Isida. So all of them, that is the light that the two lower receive from the Reshul Yisida, it makes them all Haim Keser Shal Atzilus. This is together makes the Keser of Tefillah. V'hu Resha Ilor. This is the upper head. But also Rosha Elyon. Shekulim Kolulim Bo Umakablim Oro, that all of them are included in that upper head, and I'm thinking that he meant Reshad Lo Isyada, or I'm not sure yet. So he says Kolulim Bo Umakablim Oro, they receive its light. La'ela Hu Lamala, it's up above, even up above that. Ki Reshad Lo Isyada Hu Lamala Memuchastima, it's up above a course of the Muchastima. V'gam Lamala Min Hagugolta de Erich Anpin. So he seems to be, although the language was not so clear for me, he's talking about the Reshel de Lo Isyada, that it shines into the others. The begin de Atika Kadisha is Rishim Baslas. Mishum Sha'atik Atika Kadisha, or what you get once again, which is Adam Kadmon. So it depends on, I guess, what he said, was that Adam Kadmon is shining into all three. The other two, the lower two, have to get, I think my words are, have to get their light through Erich Anpin, not through Erich Anpin, the Reshul Lo Isyada. So he says, Shehu Adam Kadmon, Nirshon Amuluvush Oro B'Shlosh Roshim. So this is Adam Kadmon, these are the three heads. Of Choche Kol Shar Boots named in the Ha'arech B'Nechav Kalida B'Slas. Av Kol Shar Haneros. Now he said, what are the other lamps? Previously it said that is Zochar V'Nuk. Is Haneros Hameirim Memena, that actually get their light from this. That is from the head of Erich Anpin. Shehem Hasphiros Hamakablim Orim Adam Kadmon. Those are the spheros that receive their light from the pneumistic source, which is Adam Kadmon. V'nichlala v'nikashrim al shlosh. Oh, wow. I lost you again. I didn't know that. Where did I lose you? Neiros. Bold print or light print? Where is it? You know, I'm way ahead. My mind's someplace else. The bottom of the first column? Yeah. Lamala Migugolta de Erich Anpin. I got that. I'm looking for the word Neiros. What page are you on? Nun base. First column, the bottom of the, so he says, "B'talas afke afchochi kol shar butsin in the harimine kalilin b'tzlas." Is that where you're at? Yep. Okay. So therefore, thus kol shar haneras hameirim b'mena, that shine from this head. Shehem hasphiras hamikablim orim ma'adam kadmon. I guess here he means the three roshim that we've been talking about. They're divided into ties that bind them into sets of three. What are the sets of three? Shehem spheres chochma bina da, so it's chabad chagat nai. Spheres chesed gevura teferes, and spheres netzachod yisod. Odofen. So that he says that's a way to understand this, is that the Adam Kadmon shines into all of those three. The lower two get their light through the ratio, the low isyada, but in one sense, in another sense, they're all one. Then he says, Od ofen sheni besedi his kalos spheres atika israshim what is this? Betraying. There's another way to look at this. Instead of looking at it as a set of three, you could look at it as a set of two. Kamo atika shuhu Adam Kadmon. So let's understand. We're talking about Adam Kadmon. The main part of its light, now we're just about what? Is in two heads. So he says the incorporation, so therefore you can incorporate atik into two. Ki or the atika shuhu Adam Kadmon, so that light of Adam Kadmon, nikla b'shnei roshim, in two heads. Rosh atik yamim v'rosh Erich Anpin. So the rosh, that is the Resha de Lo Isyada, and then the crown of Erich Anpin, the Haino Rosh Harishon Ku a Rosh Erich Anpin. So he counts backwards the other way. He says that the first head is the first. I guess he's going from the bottom to the top. The Rosh is the Rosh of Erich Anpin and Nikra Gugolta. So that's called the Gugolta Shehu Kisra Eloah to call Eloyan. So he says that the Gugolta of Erich Anpin is the upper crown of everything that's up above. I don't know what he means by called Eloyan. He says Kesser Elyon. I'll call Elyonim. It's the highest of all of the crowns. Shenekshav the Rosh Echad. So it's considered to be one Rosh in Mochas Tima together with the Mochas Tima. So here he says that what you're doing is you're dividing it. He hasn't said it yet. You're dividing it into between the ratio of the Lo Isyada and the Gugolta. That's really the head. So he says Anikra ratio to call Rashi Rosh Shel Shar Roshim Shehem Muach HaChochma Shel Shar Apartzufim, which becomes the Muach Chochma of all the rest. So what's up above that? That's the Mochas Timah. That refers to, I guess, the combination of the Gugolta and the Mochas Timah. But Rosh Hasheni Hu Lamala. But the second head is up above that. Mamala Rosh de Erich Anpin. Shuhu Rosh Atek Yamim Anikra Resh de Lo Isida, which is called the unknowable head. Kach Kol Shar Butzanim Steaming Bisrin. So also the rest of them, you can also divide them into twos instead of threes. Kach gam shar hanero shehem asfiras stumim v'kolulim b'gsharim shel shnaim shnaim. So they're all that are closed up or tied together in groups of two. So what are they? What would they be? Should they shehem sfiras chachma bina? There's two. Sfiras chesed gevura. That's two. V'sfiras netzach and hod. That's two. That's meaning opposites tied together. Okay, that's it for today. I went over. Okay, thank you so much for learning with me. Kata.